There is a specific, heavy psychological weight to feeling entirely boxed in by your starting position in life. Being trapped at the bottom of the socioeconomic ladder can feel less like a temporary hurdle and more like a life sentence. And the hard numbers usually validate that feeling. Statistically speaking, upward mobility is exceptionally rare. If you are born without financial capital or an established professional network, the math suggests you will generally remain in your starting tier. This notches the tool used to break out: cognitive reframing. When facing a systemic obstacle, the default path leads straight to defeat. Interjecting a new filter deliberately reroutes that path toward opportunity. It doesn't alter the physical environment, but recalculates what resources you extract. Calculated reframing functions as a survival mechanism, allowing an individual to find leverage in situations that appear to be total dead ends. Take the corporate world of Chicago decades ago. After hours, millions of square feet of towering office space sat dark, silent, and imposing. Pushing a mop through those empty halls was a 19-year-old named Michael. He was performing minimum wage manual labor to maintain the very floors that generated millions in corporate wealth. Let's log his specific structural disadvantages. He had zero financial capital, no formal business education, and a network of maintenance staff. So we have to ask the central question: how does a mathematically zero-leverage individual escape a closed system designed to keep him where he is? Because Michael lacked every traditional tool for success, his trajectory serves as an isolated proof of concept for the impact of cognitive reframing. The physical reality of Michael's immediate environment was bleak. He worked in total isolation, surrounded by discarded paperwork and empty desks. But Michael applied his first reframe. He decided to treat the office as a private library rather than a place of labor, looking for value left behind after the workday ended. During his breaks, he noticed books on leadership, business, and investing left out on the executives' desks. Night after night, he started reading a few pages. This chart illustrates the compounding effect of that micro-habit. The status quo remains perfectly flat, but reading a few pages a night creates an exponential upward curve of knowledge accumulation over a multi-year timeline. This reframe allowed Michael to build a foundational business literacy, using the very environment that paid for his manual labor to prepare him for his eventual exit from it. Then came the friction. One evening, a senior executive stayed late and discovered Michael sitting at a desk, reading one of the corporate business books. The social script for this moment is predictable. The low-wage worker shrinks down, apologizes for loitering, and quietly accepts a reprimand from the authority figure. Instead, Michael ran his second reframe. When the executive asked why he was reading the book, Michael bypassed the hierarchy entirely and stated his ambition: "Because one day, I want your job." The audacity shifted the dynamic. The executive was disarmed. He began providing active mentorship and curating Michael's reading list, effectively turning a gatekeeper into a guide. When Michael reframed the executive as a mentor rather than a threat, he successfully converted a moment of potential conflict into a source of social capital. Years passed, and Michael finally made his leap into entrepreneurship. He saved every dollar he could, absorbed online courses, and launched a small company out of his tiny apartment. The execution phase was punishing. For his first 2 years, his business faced consistent, costly failures that would have bankrupted most startups. Look at this representation of a standard corporate balance sheet. Most people see early mistakes and log them in the losses column. Michael applied his third reframe. He crossed out the word losses entirely and relabeled the column as tuition for his self-directed curriculum. This neutralized the emotional damage of early-stage failure. The capital lost flows out of the tuition column and straight into an asset called future experience, which Michael used to refine his strategy. Recategorizing failure as simple data collection removes the ego damage. Long-term resilience stops being a grueling test of willpower and becomes a logical, unemotional choice to keep building. Fast forward another 10 years. The dark, empty offices of his youth have been replaced by the bright architecture of a modern headquarters. Michael enters the building today as the CEO of a multi-million-dollar firm, moving through the space with the confidence of someone who mastered every level. When a reporter asked how he navigated the distance between his start and his current position, Michael pointed back to his fundamental strategy: "I never let my current position decide my future. I treated every day as a classroom." Your starting coordinates are merely static data points. A lack of capital, a lack of a network, or a low-wage job are obstacles, but they do not mathematically dictate where you end up. Look at your own mundane obstacles. Look at the resources you assume you lack, and decide exactly how you are going to reframe them into your next classroom.